Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II on the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode, we went to Toria and we learned that the Dark Elf had stolen the Earth Crystal. We stopped right outside the cave where the Dark Elf is hiding the crystal. We did go in there and see that with Metal Gear, our characters are basically paralyzed. So I de-equipped everyone of their Metal Gear and gave them this new equipment. And I'm throwing Rupes in the back row. That way Rupes is basically double defense, he'll take half damage, but he'll still use that cover command so we can cover Sid and Yang in the front row if they get low on hit points. He'll also be serving as a white mage using his magic, because Tellah's magic, he's going to basically be using it for black magic to go on offensive against the enemies. So, now there's two ways you can really do this cave. You can basically just go through it normally, that's how I'm going to be doing it, to show that these enemies can be defeated with this weaker equipment. Or you can just run from all the enemies, because eventually there's going to be a cutscene, and you're going to get use of your metal weapons again. And then leaving the cave with metal weapons, everything's just so much easier, because one, your gear is stronger, and a lot of the enemies are weak against Holy, and Rupes has that Legend Sword, which is Holy, Elemental. So, Yang will also end up getting Fairy Claws in here, which are strong against giant enemies, such as these ogres. So, we're going to deal with these ogres just like how we dealt with the Mad Ogres in Elben. We're going to cast a Size spell on them. We were able to take out 3 Mad Ogres, so we could take out 2 regular ogres, because much weaker. But the key, of course, is putting them to the mini status with the Size spell, which is a white magic spell. Most status effects seem to be black magic, but... Yang, we want him to have the Fire Claws and the Ice Claws. A lot of enemies in here are weak to fire. There's one enemy that's weak to ice, the Hydra, from outside. That's why I have Rupes with the fire arrows, because more enemies are weak to fire in this cave than any other element. The next would be Holy. So if you run out of fire arrows, switch to Holy arrows, the white arrows. Cave bats, they're very, very annoying. If they come in really large groups, they can come in groups of 6. If they come in a really large group, you might want to have Tellah use the sleep spell on them, because they do this annoying vampire effect, where they just keep stealing your hit points. And you notice their hit points, whoever gets targeted by vampire, they continue to lose their hit points. It's like a drain effect. So... we're going to try to cast Sleep on here, but for some reason Sleep teams take forever to cast, and we're going to actually defeat them before the Sleep goes off. So you can switch out Holy Hours if you want for these guys, but a regular hour, any hours that you have, is going to finish them off, because they have the weakness to the arrows. So, yeah, Rupes gained a level. Luckily this cave isn't too big, and the boss, the Dark Elf, he's not that hard compared to some of the other bosses we faced. So you get like 3 kind of easy bosses in a row. You get Kanazago, and then we get the Dark Elf in his 2 forms. He's a 2-part boss, but both forms are very easy. So I guess they're giving us a little bit of break between Bagan was a pretty tricky boss, and then the 2 bosses after that also have gimmicks with them that you have to be careful of. Here's a mage enemy. You can use the pig spell on them. Basically, you can just also use the toad spell. Basically anything that you can prevent them from casting magic. So, that'll just keep these guys from, casting any of their spells. Speaking of spells, they are an enemy that they're the only enemy that can drop the Mage Summon, which is a okay summon. It's not as good as the Cockatoo Summon. Basically, it summons one of those mage characters to paralyze an enemy. So, basically cast the Hold spell, so not really a great spell, but if you're going for a completion, you'll want to pick it up. So, like I said, when I have the completed version for the test run, I'll show off all the spells and all the items that you can only get by from enemy drops. So, get some treasure in here. Like I said, if you go on the regular route, if you go on the opposite route where you're not fighting anything, you probably just want to skip all these offshoots, because it'll be much easier to get all the treasure on your way back when you are able to be equipped with metal. And once you defeat the Dark Elf, basically the curse or the spell that he has to make metal super heavy, it'll be eliminated, and you'll just be able to go through this cave normally. Tent here. They give you, that's a nice thing here, they give you 2 save points, probably just so they can have 2 areas to use tents, because Tellah, like I said, he doesn't have a lot of MP, he only has that 90 MP, and if you're not using the underflow glitch, he's probably going to run out of magic fairly quickly, so having 2 stations where he can refill his magic is pretty nice. So, I also noticed that I got to give him a ruby ring, so doesn't give really good defense, but it gives good magical defense, so that's nice. I do get a lucky ring drop later on here, and I'll show that battle, or parts of that battle. We end up getting a strength ring, which is going to come really handy in the boss fight, because strength ring gives +5 to your strength, and that'll allow Yang to get another attack multiplier. And I'll show that off when it happens. So, right here we have, they're like the vampire bats. We got a vamp girl. She can also cast the vampire spell, weak against fire and holy, so it doesn't matter which arrows Rupes is using. And I guess it really doesn't matter because Tellah's coming through with his Fire 2 spell. Magic is really good in this. The only thing that magic isn't really effective against in this area is not really good against the ogres, other than the size spell, and it's not really good against the mages. They have really good magic defense. But here's that strength ring I got. I got it fighting 3 ogres, so that's a pretty good drop. It's not the only way to get that, and we'll be able to get that later on the treasure chest, but Zeus's gauntlet would have been nice, but the strength is good because it's going to make Yang that much more powerful. As I mentioned with stats, when your strength is a multiple of 8, it can add to an attack multiplier on your physical attacks. And Yang's strength is 35, so adding that will put it up to 40, which is gives another divisible by 8, so 32 then 40. We got the Charm Claw there. We're going to get replace the Ice Claw with that, because like I said, a lot of enemies are weak to fire in here, so we want to keep that Fire Claw on. And the Charm Claw is really good against Giant type enemies. So if we run into ogres, that claw basically is doubling our damage on them. So I just want to grab that treasure chest there before I head over to the right here, because here is another save point, the second save point. And the cave to the door by that treasure chest is just the Dark Elf's hideout, his crystal room. I'm just going to make a save here, but I'm not going to use a tent, because we're about to fight the Dark Elf, and it's basically a scripted battle that you can't win. But it goes into its second phase if you have Edward's harp. At the end of this episode, I'm going to show off, if you didn't talk to Edward and get the twin harp, what happens. It's a dialogue probably a lot of people miss. But you cannot go any further. You cannot take my crystal. You cannot use metallic weapons. You cannot defeat me. Don't worry, we'll do it. And we get into this hopeless battle with the Dark Elf, who basically just spams powerful spells, and he basically wipes us out. We attack you. If you don't have the harp from Edward, he instead uses physical attacks, but they're even worse than these magical attacks. We'll see that. But yeah, he spams the level 2 spells, basically puts us all to weakness. Then he definitely puts us to weakness, just in case you did level grind a lot. And once we're down to the weak status, we're gonna get a thing that basically says we can't win. So, oh, we can't. My dear. The interesting thing is the Dark Elf uses the weak spell, but his second form is also going to be weak against the weak spell. So, if I can use my sword. Now we have that twin harp from Edward that allows sound between the harps to communicate. So I guess maybe Edward hears are pleased through the harp. He realizes that we are in danger. This is what I was saying about the doctors aren't very good because they let him walk around even so they shouldn't. Stay in bed, you can't move around. Where are you going? Don't worry, I just want to get my harp. Ouch. So just have one of them grab the harp and take it to him. It's so much easier. But I guess you have to have Edward be heroic here and struggle. I guess it's less heroic if you just say, hey Doc, could you grab me my harp and bring it over here? But he makes his way over to the harp, struggles his way over there, and he begins to play this tune. And we'll learn where he learned this tune. Well, I'll spoil it. He basically, because he was a wandering bard, he learned some different music, and that was a music spell that he learned that binds evil fairies. So Twin Harp made a sound synchronized by the tune played by Edward. And it also binds the elf, who's, I guess, part fairy, or in the fairy family. So, but that doesn't mean he'll take extra damage from Yang's claws. But he will take extra damage from Rupes' legend sword. Wield your sword, Dark Elf cannot control the spell while I'm playing. It's Edward. So yeah, now you can equip all your metallic gear. We want to put Rupes back in the front row, because he'll be equipped with the legend sword. And that's going to basically just tear through the first form of the Dark Elf. So yeah, even though the Slumber Sword is stronger, so right now Sid, the Legend Sword will do more damage because he has the weakness to it. So Sid has a strength of 25, so if we equip that thing on him, he'll get to 30, the strength ring on him, it'll be 30, but 25 and 30 are both divided by 8. It's both 3. And it always rounds down, so we're not going to give that to him. But Yang here has a strength of 36, so if we give him the strength ring, that'll boost his strength up to 41, and 36 divided by 8, we get 4, but 41 divided by 8, we get 5, so you notice that Yang's, he went from a 6 attack multiplier to 7, so he's just going to be able to do a lot more damage, and we ended up with only 1 fire arrow left, so just the right amount. The other ones we'll be putting to use later on. We will be getting Lily back eventually, so we're going to want to keep that great bow and all the arrows. But all this other like wooden equipment, leather equipment, don't really need it anymore. We want to keep the ruby rings though, because of the status hierarchy. There's going to be enemies that use some pretty bad status effects, but Piggy's a pretty high status effect, so if you block Piggy, you'll be able to block all the spells that are lower hierarchy than that, so. Now the Dark Elf, I guess the music really weakens his stats, because he hit us all with that stuff, and it didn't really hurt us all that bad. But as you can see, Rupes took off 1,400 of his 2,000 hit points for just one hit. At 2,000 hit points, the Dark Elf changes form to the Dark Dragon, and once he becomes the Dark Dragon, he is weak to the Weak Spell and Holy Elemental. Weak Spell puts you down into single-digit hit points, and with that, he falls easily. And see how we didn't need the tent there, because when Edward plays his song, everyone's restored to full hit point and magic points. And with that, the Dark Elf is defeated. We claim the Crystal of the Oath. And now we can march out. Now, there's an enemy I hadn't encountered here yet, so I'm going to trek my way out of the cave in the next episode, just to find that enemy. But if you've encountered all the enemies, you're not worried about throwing out your bestiary, you could just cast Rupes' or Tellah's exit spell to warp that out of here. But it's a really cheap experience to fight these guys. Now that we have metal equipment, everything's going to be really easy. You'll notice Yang with the the Charm Claws there. He does so much damage to the ogres because Charm is strong against the giant family, and ogres are part giant, so Yang basically starts one-shotting them. Basically almost don't even need to mini them anymore. So I'm going to make a save here, and then I'll trek out in the next episode to show off that one enemy I didn't meet, farm it. But for the rest of the episode, I'm going to show off what happens if you didn't get the harp from Edward. So, similar thing, you just had to make your way through with, bad gear, or whatever. But you notice here in my inventory, I do not have the twin harp anywhere. So the dog elf's attack and his things are going to be a little bit different, so it starts out just normal, just like the last battle. However, he calls us fools this time, instead of saying, me attack you, and instead of using the magic attacks, he just hits everybody for 9,999 damage. And, there's no point, so this basically you're forced to get that harp. And then you perish and the game's over. So, that's it for this episode. I'll see you in the next episode. We trek out the cave. Bye!